Things to keep in mind when doing a M57 Defender swap. Space is not much of an issue, but packaging everything together requires the right combination of parts. So for this build, we're using a custom-made radiator and a custom-made intercooler, which is actually two 475 horsepower Garrett intercooler cores. Now we have an AC condenser sandwiched in between, and that gives us very little space to play with for the and radiator fans. The smallest you're going to get is a 2-inch, and even with those, clearance is quite limited. So we have the fan spout made up here. Now, since this radiator is fabricated in-house, we're able to use the OE top hose, and you can also use the OE coolant tank hose from the Defender, which will fit directly into your coolant tank. Now, if you're using a automatic transmission, then you need to find a suitable place to mount the oil cooler. Some people mount it in the front, some people mount it here if you don't have an AC condenser. We've opted to mount it under the wing. Now, we think this will have adequate airflow, so we are going to drive it, see what the temperatures are like, and then see if we need to relocate it or if a vent is all that is needed. For the intercooler plumbing, we're using a 2.5-inch inlet and outlet, and that lets us use straight a 2.5-inch silicone coupler to the OE plastic intake hose. On the turbo outlet side, we have aluminium adapter which we bought, which we have also had to modify to get the angle right for our setup. 2-inch stainless steel pipe going into 2.5 to the intercooler. Now, one of the things you're going to buy is this adapter here. I think it's the EGR delete, if I'm not wrong. Now, this is much longer and it doesn't give you the kind of clearance you need for the radiator fans. So we've shortened it, but what we have noticed when we look at it from the inside is that the inner diameter of this doesn't match up to the inner diameter of this. So it's something we're going to machine. If it was a naturally aspirated engine, it's something you would definitely lose power with. But that's done. So now, coming to the power steering, you will have to get a hydraulic hose made from the power steering pump to the steering box with the banjo bolts from them. So you will have to make that. Even the hard lines, you will have to get the right banjo fittings, and then that will be sorted out. And the last thing you need to figure out is your exhaust. We fabricated a 3-inch downpipe from the turbo going straight into a 3-inch Borla muffler, and that muffler is beautiful. It has a very refined exhaust note, and I don't think we need an additional muffler or a Valvetronic setup for this car. It's really quiet, but it sounds very nice. Since we're talking about the exhaust, I just want to make a quick mention about the turbo. In order for the VNT actuator, which is there, to clear this power steering box, you are going to have to add these spacers that moves the actuator back and gives you the clearance you need. And then what you do is you flip the VNT, the actuator rod, and that works as intended. And then you obviously have to add in your O2 sensor and EGT probes as well. That pretty much completes your swap on the cooling and intake and exhaust side. And yeah, so if you need any more information, just drop us a message in the comments. We'll try to address it in the next video.